Welcome back to the Hockey Family. Lots of hockey coming up, even though the seasons are now over for almost every league. Spring hockey, summer hockey, tryouts and tournaments and so forth. So just wanted to do a quick video about things that maybe you might find helpful from one parent to another. In way of a preamble, I would say none of this is medical advice. This is just an example of things that may have worked for us. We hope that they work for you. We hope they work for your family. And we hope that you can share some things back that maybe you find helpful. And that way we can share and collaborate and find things that the kids all enjoy eating. I would also say in way of a preamble, spoiler alert, the answer really is whatever your children will eat. They all have different palates, the textures of the foods. I'm sure you understand. Not everything is going to be palatable for every child. So these are just some things that we have found may be helpful, and I'll try to give you some scenarios in which we found it most beneficial. I can't stress enough, whole foods are really going to be the best option rather than something that's prepackaged or rather than something that's purchased. That being said, we all know fast food is going to be an option at times. Pizza and things like that are going to be an option because it's going to be what's convenient. Some of these tournaments are very early morning, some of them are very late at night, and with games all different staggered times, it's very difficult to get in good nutrition at times. With that being said, I'm going to start with a couple of things that are basic. We have found it most helpful to eat. Most studies have found that it's most helpful to eat around 1.5 to 2 hours before you have a big event. That being said, many of these games are early in the morning. It's quite difficult to do that. If you have a long commute, however, there are some things that we have found helpful. If your child can eat right away when they get up, something that you could make would be something like this. Kodiak cake, oatmeal. We found these to be pretty helpful if your child likes it. Henry's not a big fan of these, but my wife and I find these very, very helpful. Only 2.5 grams of fat, 31 grams of carbohydrate, and 12 grams of protein. Quick and easy snack. You can dress these up with many different things. I will show you those in some subsequent videos. The next thing that you're going to find that is most convenient, easiest to grab, particularly for a long car ride, are protein bars. The RX bar, most people find these pretty interesting because the ingredients are all whole foods. Usually low fat. This blueberry one only has 7 grams, 12 grams of protein, and enough carbohydrates to really get you through. So if you're going to snack on something, most people like these because it's really just egg whites, some dates for flavor, some blueberries for flavor or other fruits, and then just some nuts to provide a little bit of that fat source that you might need. So RX bar, not a bad choice. One of the ones that they market for kids are these Z bars. Now these are made by Clif. A regular Clif bar, in my opinion, might be actually better. These have 5 grams of fat, 24 grams of carbohydrate, but only 2 grams of protein. So really not a complete source of something that you might want to give. That being said, the iced oatmeal flavor is something that I know Henry and a lot of the kids do find helpful. So if it's this or nothing, this might be a good choice for them to eat, particularly pre-game. One of the ones that we found most helpful for us, and one of the ones that I know Henry likes, are these Met-Rex bar. Met-Rex is a company that's been around for a very, very long time. They have many different flavors of these bars. My wife and I have found that this apple pie one is quite tasty. Henry really enjoys the oatmeal cookie and the cookies and cream version, which is almost like an Oreo in a bar. The reason we found these most helpful is because this is really a meal replacement bar. This is something if you've got an 1.5-hour commute to the rink, 2-hour commute to the rink, and their stomach can tolerate it, this is going to be a decent, complete source of food that might just be easy to throw in your bag. 9 grams of fat, 48 grams of carbohydrates, 30 grams of protein. Really a solid choice, I think, in terms of what's something that they could stomach perhaps in the car. If they're not able to eat a ton of this, stomach's really not going to tolerate it, try some other things. Perhaps they'd like to eat something more whole food. These are some turkey-based sausages. These are the ones that Henry really enjoys. We find these a lot better than some of the other things because this is a lower fat content. This is only 8 grams of fat for the serving size, which is 2 patties. He likes to dress these up with a little bit of syrup as well, which we find makes them taste pretty good as well. I would recommend this if you've got some time to sit down in the morning and eat prior to getting in the vehicle. this would be a really good choice. And also the English muffins. There's many different versions of these. The Dave's Killer Bread ones are pretty good. They also have a lot more protein in them. But the Thomas ones are not bad either because it's a very low fat source. It's only 1.5 grams of fat for 55 grams of carbohydrates. And then you get 9 grams of protein in these as well. So not a bad source. You can also dress those up as you would like, perhaps with some syrup, perhaps with some strawberry jelly or grape jelly, whatever you like. Sometimes people like some peanut butter. Now, as you get a little closer to the game time, or maybe you don't have a lot of time to eat beforehand, what's going to be something that's going to be helpful for the child when they play? Well, one of the main sources of energy is really the carbohydrates. I could do a macronutrient lecture if that's helpful in a different video, but some quick sources of carbs that might be of benefit for you. These Welch's fruit snacks, really no other nutritional value other than some quick carbs. So these are 80 calories, not so bad, 19 grams of carbohydrates per pack. I have a couple of packs of those. Most people find them pretty filling and an easy, quick source of carbohydrate before they play. Another quick trick that I have found, gummy bears, if they've, nothing else, it's a quick source of carbs before they get out onto the ice. And Henry's found that to be really helpful and tasty as well. Kids, they enjoy that kind of stuff. Now, again, if you can get a whole food, oranges are big in the summer because they're a quick source of vitamin C, also hydrating. Some things that Henry likes, though, sometimes in lieu of those, are just some apples and or bananas. Really good source of carbohydrate, also a good source of fiber. It's something that we find is tasty, so they enjoy eating them. And that's really what this all comes down to, is what will they eat? Some other quick sources of carbs that are really helpful that we found that they really enjoy. Applesauce. They come in all different flavors. This is plain, this is mango peach. These are great sources of quick carbs, easy digesting. They don't make you feel bloated. Another thing, my son used to call these cups when he was a little kid, but just these Dole fruit cups, 15 grams of carbs per cup. A lot of them have cherries, which are pretty enjoyable, pineapples, things like that. Vitamin C, easy, quick source of carbohydrates. Now, if they can't tolerate a lot of things on their stomach in terms of solid food, what's something that they could perhaps drink that might be of some benefit? Now, not everyone's going to tolerate these, but they do come in multiple flavors. This is the Muscle Milk Pro, 32 grams of protein per bottle, really low fat, only 2 grams of fat per these, but 9 grams of carbohydrates. So this is something they could sip in the car, get a decent source of protein as they're ready to play. You pair this perhaps with some fruit snacks, pair this with a banana, and you've got yourself a pretty complete snack that they could have while you're driving to the rink and feel fueled so that they can play their best. Now, sugar is a topic that everyone individualizes for their family. Gatorade or some drink similar, not a bad choice. 140 calories. This is the full sugar version with 36 grams of carbohydrates. This is something that we sometimes put in the water bottles. They can sip during the game a little bit, give them a little bit of extra fuel. But in terms of a pregame drink, also not a bad choice for the carbohydrates. Now, having said that, they do make these versions both low sugar to 0 sugar. They also make them with protein. The protein ones I find pretty effective. It's an extra way to sneak in a little bit of protein. I know Henry has a difficult time sometimes getting enough protein in during the day. So they have about 10 grams per bottle, all different flavors. And they also give you a little bit of carbohydrate source. If you were to mix some of this with the protein, which is what I typically do, I usually make sure it's the same flavor, both fruit punch, for example. It's easily palatable. You're getting a quick source of protein before you play, and you're also getting some carbohydrates, which are really a great source. Most recommendations that I have seen recommend 10 to 15 grams of protein, maybe 30 grams of carbs, something like that. Again, they can be individualized for your family, can be individualized talking to someone that's a nutritionist or someone that's a physician. But these are just some examples of things that have helped us and worked for us. So I thought I would share them with you. Quick final note, I left some ingredients here. I will do a video on how to make these in the subsequent one. But my wife has made some protein snacks in the house, and we find these very, very effective. Henry enjoys these. and very basic ingredients. Just make sure you have no allergies to any of the ingredients, but aside from that, very easy to make. Oats, peanut butter, honey, and a protein of your choice. Again, I'll go over this in a subsequent video, but I hope you found this helpful. Again, I can go over macronutrients, I can go over timing, I can go over some additional snacks that we make that we find helpful in subsequent videos. Anyway, see you guys next time. Thanks.